Welcome to the world of AHZ, where dreams take flight and futures are transformed. We have helped thousands of students from all around the world achieve their academic and career goals. We are more than just an education consultant. We are your bridge to success in the United Kingdom. Our support doesn't stop at the classroom door. We are here to assist you with any challenges you may face during your time abroad. Get ahead with AHZ today. AHZ, your pathway to excellence, your partner in success.
Hello everyone, good morning. I am 𝗗𝗶𝗺𝗲 from AHZ Nigeria. We are your trusted UK universities representative, and we work with over 100 universities in the UK. And today we are with one of our top partners from UK, a university that is, a university you can always trust to give you your 100% academic value. And the university I'm talking about is Middlesex University. So we have two of the university representatives here this morning. We have 𝗗𝗁𝗲𝗄𝗧 and we have 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗲 here. So I would give them the mic to talk soon. But before we go on to that, I should remind every one of us what we do at AHZ. So AHZ is your top option when you want to study in UK. We give maximum support to our students from the application stage up until you get enrolled on campus. And when I say maximum support, I mean all necessary support at no cost. Trust me. Application to universities, your visa application, all the processes, we do that at no cost. So, any opportunity you want to take up with any UK university, you can always reach out to us at AHZ and trust us to deliver. So back to our our partners, sorry, that we have here with me today. They are, look at them, they look radiant. From Middlesex University, 𝗗𝗁𝗲𝗄𝗧. So I will let them introduce themselves and what they are here to do for us today. Okay, you can have the mic, 𝗗𝗁𝗲𝗄𝗧. Good morning.
Good morning, Udemy. Thank you so much. My name is 𝗗𝗁𝗲𝗄𝗧, and I'm the regional manager for Africa at Middlesex University. I look after our operations in West Africa and East and Southern Africa. And with me is my colleague, 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗲. She will introduce herself. But so today we are here to talk about studying at Middlesex, applications, visas, scholarships, and answer your questions. So just stay with us as we proceed. So 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗲, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗲𝗄𝗲, Business Development Manager for West Africa for Middlesex University. So we're here to basically talk about Middlesex, take all your questions, share all the updates, and we look forward to having you all at Middlesex University.
Yes, we do.
All right, thank you very much. So those are the beautiful reps you have from Middlesex University today, and I am ready to drill them. So they'll be telling us everything we need to know about Middlesex, ranging from the application to the pre-class, post-class, arrival on campus. So they will tell us everything we need to know. So are you ready for me today, 𝗗𝗁𝗲𝗄𝗧 and
Absolutely.
𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗧?
Yes. Bring it on.
All right.
Yes, we are.
So can you tell us about Middlesex generally, the location, things we need to know as the introduction part of Middlesex University? Thank you.
Sure. So Middlesex University is a public institution with a rich history that dates back to 1878. We are a very career-focused university. We want to make sure that our students are able to secure good jobs at the end of their programs with us. We are also very particular on being inclusive. And so we have a very, very welcoming and diverse community. The university has representation from over 120 nationalities, and that is not just for students, even our academics, are from diverse cultures. So we are very, very inclusive at Middlesex. Now, one of the things you also need to know is that we've got a lot of programs ranging from undergraduate to postgraduate degree courses. We have over 400 courses that you could choose from. As an international student, you would find that Middlesex is, located in one of the best student cities in the world. So we are in London, and who doesn't want to study in London? Come on. Think about it. You have all sorts of industry networks. We also have lots of industry connections at the university, which means that you will also be studying with lecturers who are industry experts, and then also get opportunities for career sessions, webinars, and seminars and workshops from industry experts. And at the end of your program, you can secure quality, very good jobs, both overseas and back in your home country. Some other thing that we take pride in is our student support. The university is very big on this, and our state-of-the-art facilities. The university has invested heavily on our facilities. Over £200 million was invested, to make our Hendon campus what it is. And you get support from both the employability team. We have employability support, mental health support, academic support. In fact, I will tell you something interesting. So at Middlesex University, students can loan laptops for free. You can print for free. This is something that obviously makes life a little bit easier for students, especially when it comes to cost. So these are at least expenses that you will not worry about. You will not have to worry about when you're studying with us. I always tell my students that you don't have the excuse of, oh, the dog ate my homework or my laptop packed up. That's why I couldn't submit my assignment, because you can actually loan a laptop for free at Middlesex. And that is not all. You also have access to computers at the library. We have a very amazing library for students, and so there is so much that you can benefit from while studying with us. Our lecturers are very supportive. You get one-to-one sessions with your personal tutors, especially the undergraduates. So I think our fees are also competitive, for a university that is based in London. So I think when you consider other options, you would find that Middlesex would be a perfect choice. Our program contents are rich, and we also make sure we stay up to date with industry requirements. So we always make sure that the curriculum is on point with what employers are looking for. So we always update our programs, our course content, to make sure that your experience is exactly what it should be, that you are not just getting a certificate on paper. You're actually going to be ready for work at the end of your program. I think okay, so, and we are truly international. So we have overseas campuses. And so students who do not wish to study in London, for whatever reason, have the chance to still obtain a British degree from Middlesex University at our Dubai campus and our campus in London, in Mauritius, sorry. So if you are looking to study at Middlesex, but you do not want to come to the UK, then perhaps you would want to consider studying at our campus in Dubai or our campus at Mauritius. Our campuses would offer you the same syllabus. You would get the same certificate as a student who has completed their degree at the London campus. It is the same quality, so we would not be compromising on anything. So these are some of the options. I guess I would just pause here for now, since I know you have more questions or very specific questions to ask. Bidemi, over to you.
All right, thank you. So, as we all heard just now, Middlesex has multiple campuses across the world, not just in UK, in Dubai and Mauritius. That is very good option. So, Thank you for that, Oluchi. So the next question I'll be asking, as regards numerous courses available, do you offer nursing courses
Yes,
or
we
health
do.
related courses?
Absolutely. So we've got BSc nursing options. We also have nursing studies for MSc. So we have, students who are already practicing nurses with bachelor's degree and they want to go for a master's in nursing studies. We have that option. But for undergraduates, absolutely, we have the BSc degree option for adult nursing.
Okay, if I get that right, you have MSc nursing, right?
Nursing studies. We also have BSc nursing.
Okay, so is the MSc a conversion course, or you need to have a background study in nursing before you're eligible for it or
Yes, you
qualified?
definitely need to have a background to be eligible for the master's option.
Academically, right?
Yes,
Okay,
excuse me.
what other health related courses are available?
There are so many options. We've got
Public
cardiology,
health.
we've got public health. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. We have some healthcare science programs as well that students could consider if they are, of course, eligible to apply.
Okay, what about social work?
Yes, so there is social work both at undergraduate and master's level. So there is the MA social work, and we also have the BA social work.
All right, thank you. So moving on to from the available courses, I mean, if those are the major selling points, is there's nursing, health related courses, and social work. Aside that, I think other courses are a bit on the most requested list here in Nigeria. It's probably okay. Speaking of which, what about data science, AI? Are they available as well?
So yes, we've got data science available. We also have other computer science related courses, telecoms engineering. So we're thinking courses that are popular with students from, say, Nigeria, for instance.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we have both the MSc Computer Science, BSc Computer Science, MSc
Mm-hmm.
in Data Science. There are also other courses that I think Nigerian students would love to consider. So there is biomedical sciences with different
Mm-hmm.
pathway options. So you could go for hematology and transfusion science. You could go for clinical biochemistry. You could go for medical microbiology. There are so many options they could you know take when it comes to biomedical sciences. Then we also have, of course, business programs. So there is the MBA. We also have the graduate MBA. So the graduate MBA is different from our standard MBA. The graduate MBA allows students who are, say, fresh graduates, do not have, managerial experience or any work experience at all to apply. So for the graduate MBA, you do not need work experience, but excuse me, if you go on to the other MBA that requires experience, so the content will be slightly different. So um, if you're going for the standard MBA, that means you're applying for a program that needs you to have at least 2 years managerial experience or supervisory experience. There are lots of courses that students can, and then we have, of course, programs under arts and creative industries. So we have the students who want to study maybe fine arts. We have students who want to study graphic design. Those options are also available. Animations. There's so many options. Truly, we have a long list of programs. But yeah, we can't
I'm
list them
telling
all.
you. For you to have creative courses with computer related courses, health related courses, I mean, Middlesex has it all. So moving on from the available courses, I would like us to talk about the entry requirements both at the undergraduate level and postgraduate level.
Sure.
So
So for undergraduate applications, normally we would require students to have completed a foundation program or A levels or have at least a 1 year diploma or IB diploma or just a university first year. Maybe you have completed first year of or 2 years of a university degree, and then you can apply for transcripts and make an application to start an undergraduate study with us. So
mm,
that means for Nigeria, so we're speaking about to Nigerian students right now. So if you have got your SSCE, So be it WAEC or NECO, or you have just taken the IGCSE, you would need to first complete a foundation program before you can go on to year one of our bachelor's degree options. Just to be clear, our bachelor's is 3 years long for most of the courses. So that means after foundation, you get to spend just 3 years to complete a university undergraduate degree at Middlesex. And then for master's applicants, typically our entry requirement would be second class lower division minimum. So if you have a 2-2, as we call it, you should be able to get a place on most of our programs. However, there are programs that would require a higher grade upon completion. So for example, social work will require 2-1 in your previous degree. That's just one example right there. I believe our engineering management probably also requires a 2-1, I think. We have our entry requirements clearly, explained on our website. So if a student is doing their search, or if they have obviously gone to AHZ for consultation, AHZ will be able to assist you in making the right application, which means AHZ would have looked at our entry requirement for the specific course that you're looking to apply to, and guide you. If you have met the requirement, they will log an application for that program. But if you do not meet the requirement, then they can advise you on other options available at Middlesex.
All right, thank you. So speaking of the entry requirement for nursing, because nursing seems to have a high demand on this from Nigerians at the undergraduate level. So what special entry requirement is required, like the IELTS and what? Okay, yes, the IELTS.
You're right. Yes, you're actually right. So nursing obviously demands slightly higher entry requirement, especially when it comes to proof of English language qualification. So we would accept, what do you call it? We will accept IELTS 7.0, for instance, for English, whereas other undergraduate programs would require an overall of 6.0. So that's to tell you that it is obviously higher. However, we still consider some local qualifications, like the WAEC. So if you have a B3 in English, then you do not need to provide the IELTS. Does that make sense? So the equivalent, the equivalent would be a B3 in English. Yes.
Okay,
So
that's perfect.
that is what we would consider for local qualification. So NECO or WAEC B3 in English will stand in for the IELTS 7.0.
That subjects are the for on WAEC or NECO results may count. Is it just English? Because some schools might require for chemistry, physics, or something.
So no, it's not just English, but we would obviously consider a student who has at least English, probably maths if possible. Biology would be a good one. Chemistry would be a good one. So, and for the foundation or A levels, any 3 subjects in sciences, including English, should be fine.
Okay. So if I want to go for, if I have a student, for instance, that wants to start nursing at undergraduate level, not foundation, what are the entry requirements? Ordinarily, WAEC and NECO does not qualify for undergraduate. You have to come through foundation. Or possibly he or she has some qualifications before that. So
If they have done maybe, so we have some students who have, like I mentioned, who have already started studying a degree program. And so if you have studied, if you have started with, say, a science-related course in a Nigerian university or any other university, and then you just don't want to continue there, we will look at your transcripts, consider what subjects you have taken. If we consider you have done good in the relevant modules in your studies, we would obviously waive the foundation as long as you completed at least 1 full year of study at your previous place. Yeah, so that also includes diploma that have relevant subjects as well. So some students enroll for a diploma at a university, not just the IB diploma or something. So there are those options. Yeah. There are also the well, they no longer call it OND, so the ND students. So we have ND, HND, but it now depends on what subjects we're taking on those programs. So in a situation like this, the transcript is very, very important to make a decision. Yeah, because we want to be looking at what subjects we're taking and what grades were achieved.
All right.
But yeah, but what I would
Okay,
not
so
what I would say is that okay, so then we have those who also studied nursing at a nursing school, not the bachelor's version. So if you already did, if you already went to a school of nursing and you want to start from scratch to do a bachelor's degree all over again, we would definitely consider your application. Transcripts and the certificate and your registration and all of that with the nursing council should suffice.
okay. So what options do you have for third class HND holders?
So those with third class, unfortunately, like I said, our entry requirements is a minimum of second class lower degree for most courses. Now, if you have a third class and you have extensive work experience, relevant work experience, not just work experience, we may be able to consider your application under, for certain programs. We would obviously need to refer your application to the faculty for the academics to take a look and see if you'll be a good fit for the program. Now, some of the times an interview might be required. The academics might want to have a conversation with you just to see how up to date you are, on in the field, so that they could consider you for a direct master's program. Other options would be, so we have this particular course, MA International Business Management Enhanced or extended, as it were. So it's 15 months long as opposed to the standard version, which is 12 months. Now, applicants who have a third class might be able to get onto that program. That is the 15-month version. But now we would like to make it clear that just because this option exists doesn't mean every applicant, can come onto the program. So there are still other, terms and conditions applied. So we would need to check if it is actually a good fit for you based on maybe your career trajectory and your previous academic background and all of that. So it's not just a place for everyone who's got a third class. We still need to make certain extra decisions, behind the scenes with admissions and all. So we know. And then so that is one option that I know Middlesex offers to students who have achieved the third class, the 15 months version of MA International Business Management.
Is that the only course that has the extended option?
Yes, that's the only program at the moment that has the extended option. Yeah. But like I said, if you have a third class and you feel this applicant has got relevant experience, that is actually extensive. So not just relevant experience. So we're looking at extensive experience, not NYSC or something like that. So we need the person to have been well grounded in the industry for us to consider them onto the master's program.
Okay, what about HND?
So I think there are instances where HND students with experience have also been considered for a master's, but this is not a standard, entry requirement. So like I said, it will still be a case-by-case situation where we, look at the personal statement, look at the CV, look at, the transcripts and all of that. And then we can forward it to the tutor for an assessment. And so if the tutor thinks the student will be able to study at postgraduate level without, difficulty, then they will accept. And that's when an offer will be made. But like I said, if the assessment doesn't convince the academics that they will be a good fit for the program, then unfortunately we will reject such an application.
Okay, so for instance, someone with probably a distinction or upper credits with in HND with substantial work experience may be considered for
Yes,
direct
absolutely.
master. I think
Yes.
that makes sense. I think that makes
Yeah.
a whole lot of sense. So we have
Yeah.
Nigerian applicants who own a Benin Republic certificate. What
Mm-hmm.
options do we have for that?
Okay, so yes, we get that question a lot, and I really wish we considered the Benin Republic degrees as UK equivalents, but that's not the case. So at the moment, the bachelor's degree from Benin Republic is not equivalent to a UK bachelor's degree. Rather, a master's degree from Benin Republic is equivalent to a UK bachelor's degree. So if you have a master's from Benin Republic, then you can go on to a master's at Middlesex. Sounds a bit, unusual, but that is actually what the equivalence is, has for us at the moment. Now, maybe in the future, specific institutions may be flagged off as, delivering, better or higher degrees or something. Yes. So I'm not saying the degrees are substandard, but basically based on the curriculum and that is the syllabus covered, I think that's why it doesn't match. So whatever it is that the UK ETIs equivalency metrics, measures at the moment says it is not equivalent. So maybe some specific institutions might have a different way they deliver their programs, and those institutions might be considered in the future. But at the moment, unfortunately, the answer will be no for degree, bachelor's from Benin to master's at Middlesex. We will consider masters from Benin at the moment. So what it means is if you've got a bachelor's from Benin, then we would recommend a top up at Middlesex.
Exactly.
So joining
Okay.
final year, yes. So you join a final year of an equivalent program, or should I say, of a similar program. If you have studied human resources at Benin, so you can come onto a human resources final year bachelor's program at Middlesex, and then after that you go for your masters. That makes better sense than saying outright no to you.
All right. I think that's better. Okay,
Yeah.
so another thing I want to talk about is the foundation pathway. Do you run
Hmm.
the foundation on campus, or do you have a
Yes.
facility for it?
Yes, so we do offer foundation programs. Although for this September 2024, we will not be delivering the IFP, that is the International Foundation Program for September 2024. So we will update you once we put it back on the list for probably January or next year, September. But the options that we have, so our foundation programs are divided into different subject areas. So you would have, say, foundation IFP for business and law, maybe IFP for science and technology, IFP for arts and creative industries. So that means the student who completes the IFP for arts and creative industries can then proceed on to BA Fine Arts, graphic design, and those programs in the arts and creative industry faculty. And then if you do the one for science and tech, you could go for, say, BSc computer science. And then when you go for the option for business, you go for the one that offers the business programs. The one for law, you can go for the law programs, international relations, politics, and all of that.
All right. Elf? What about elf?
Yeah, so at the moment, we do not have an option for that, which means if you are coming for, say, nursing and you need
Mm-hmm.
a foundation, then you can't do it with us. That's
Oh,
the unfortunate part. Yeah, so you need to have completed it elsewhere.
elsewhere. So you accept from
Yeah.
anywhere in UK, any
Uh,
foundation run
as long
program.
as long as long as it's an institution that we can vouch for their qualities, absolutely, yes. So if you have completed a foundation from the UK, we definitely would consider your application. We also have students who have completed their foundation maybe locally because of the institutes in country has an affiliation to a UK partner. So we would also consider those. I know, for example, that there are NC-UK Foundation programs that are delivered by some sixth form colleges in Nigeria. So because the certificate is issued by NC-UK, we will consider it, even if the person had studied here in Nigeria. Does that make
Okay.
sense to you?
It does. It does. It makes a whole lot of sense. All right. So I
Yeah.
think that will be all for entry requirements at this point. Okay. So
Okay.
that won't be all. We need to talk about the English requirements and the cap,
Okay.
if there is any.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what are
So
the English requirements for
yes,
undergraduate? I think we already spoke about undergraduates.
we mentioned for undergraduate overall 6.0 with minimum 5.5 in each band. But so for IELTS, obviously, it's valid for 2 years. That you already know. We also
Yeah.
would consider Pearson's test of English. I think up to full. So those are options for those that are taking the CELT. But for local qualification, at the moment we haven't put a cap on how old your WAEC should be or how old your NECO should be. We haven't put a cap on it. But if we do feel that an applicant's English qualification is a bit too old, there might be a need for you to be invited to take our internal English language test. So we do offer the Middlesex English language test. It's a
At
one
what cost?
attempt only kind of test, zero
Okay.
cost. We do not charge
Wow.
students for that. Yes.
That
So if a
makes a lot.
student has not, yes, if a student has not met the standard English language requirements, then they might be able to take our internal English language test. But the thing is, it's free, but then we can only allow you sit for it once. So
Mm.
it's a one chance only option. So
I mean, for something free, that still makes sense. So is
it
that
makes sense. So we
available
want
for?
students to prepare for it. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay,
available for this September. Yes.
okay. I mean, for postgraduate and undergraduate, or just postgraduate
Absolutely.
applicants.
Postgraduate, undergraduate, we are
Nursing,
happy to accept.
nursing.
So I would actually have to check because for nursing, the demand for the program is high, and that means the volume of application is also high. So I am not sure if we can accommodate applicants on the nursing program for that test at this time,
Okay.
but we would be able to advise you on that if you have a specific applicant that is asking, then we can check with the English testing team and our academic advisors as well to see if this is something we would consider. Seeing that, like I said, it has a different entry requirement for English. It's very specific. So we want to make sure that we can use our internal tests as a waiver if need be.
Okay. So another
Yeah.
question I would like to ask is the study gap for your undergraduates. Is there study gap?
Yeah. So now for admission purposes, we do not discriminate against how old you are or study gap and all of that. But from an academic standpoint, there is need to actually consider a huge gap in your study history. So, for instance, if you have a HND, we have put a 5-year cap on it. So, if you do not apply for your top up, within 5 years of obtaining your HND certificate, unfortunately, we would not be able to accept. One of the reasons, there are many reasons for this decision, but I'll give you a typical example. So you know that I mentioned how we keep updating our syllabus and to make sure that the program, is rich enough and, very, very much up to date. So if you studied, 10 years ago, what you studied at the time and the credit you're about to transfer may be completely different from what we are
Yeah.
currently teaching. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
you would basically be in a class where you do not understand what's going on because what was studied in year 1 and year 2 of that same program, because you're joining year 3, is completely different from what you studied
I
at your
did
own
10 years
at your
ago.
own institution. Yes. So and yeah, and the industry is very fast paced. It keeps changing. So the program content keeps, we keep modifying at the same speed too. And that means that your whatever it is you previously studied is no longer a match, for a credit transfer. So that's just one of the reasons. Then there is the visa compliance side of things too. So we have had situations where UKVI has also raised, red flags for situations like that. So this also poses a high risk for the applicant. The possibility of your visa being unsuccessful is kind of greater when there is a huge study gap. So these are some of the factors that would affect, our decision. So to make it, to make things simple, we would say try to apply for your top up, within 5 years of completing your diploma, your higher national diploma. Otherwise, it might be difficult to, proceed with the top up option. Does that make sense?
What about yeah, it does, undergraduate international year one?
Yeah. So in those who have completed the international year one at like the pathway providers, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a case by case thing. Sometimes I know that for the pathway that they are supposed to progress on to, they are supposed to start year two after doing the international year one, isn't it? Yeah, so well, I think we would definitely look at the application on case by case, check what modules they have covered at the pathway where they have completed the program, and then check what grades they have achieved. If we think they have achieved enough credits to move to year two, then we will offer year two. But if not, or if their grades were not strong enough, then we will offer year one.
Okay, that's no problem. All right, thank you for
Yeah.
that. So, from the entry requirements, we move on to tuition fee range, the deposits, possible scholarships available.
Okay, so the range for tuition is from £16,000 to 19,800. Oh, no, I think about 2,200 thereabouts, because of the both the MBA and the MA International Business extended, because the fee is higher than the standard fee, the standard program. But tuition for undergraduates is just about 16,000 £16,000 to 16,600, and then for our master's program starts from about 16,800 upwards. We have a 50% deposit requirement for students from this region. So 50% deposit is required before CAS is issued. And then we offer all students for the September 2024 intake a scholarship of £2,000. So whatever your tuition fee is, consider it minus 2,000. That would be the overall cost to you for tuition. So 50% deposit, and then the balance of the 50% will be split into 25-25. So the next installment will be due by January for the September students, and then your final installment will be due by April.
Okay.
So so I think we've given about 4 months gap between enrollment and each installment.
Okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, 50%, 25, 25%. That's fine. So, what are the documents required for CAS?
Yeah. So first we have the pre-CAS interview. So it's not a document per se, but it is one of the checks that we have to take, or we have to screen our applicants just to be sure they are not vulnerable to a visa refusal. The reason is because Nigeria, for instance, is considered high risk. It's on the high risk matrix of the UKVI. And so there is sort of an extra scrutiny on students from this region. And we want to make sure that you are not susceptible to a refusal. So we do conduct a pre-CAS interview. The UKVI sometimes will contact students for a credibility interview. After you have submitted your visa paperwork, you could receive a telephone call from the UK Home Office, and then they would ask you all sorts of questions just to be sure you're a credible student. And so if you are genuine, you get a visa. If they find you to be lacking in some way, then your application could be refused on the grounds that you are not a genuine student, and this could ruin your chances for future visa applications. In fact, most universities will drop you like a hot potato, the minute you say you were rejected on the grounds
Yes.
of credibility. So having that in mind, the university has to conduct these extra checks. So we ask you questions that are similar to what the 𝗂𝗲𝗃 would be asking during such interviews. And if you pass our interview, chances are you will pass a 𝗂𝗃𝗃 interview.
Yes.
And then, yeah, and then upon successful completion of the interview, the next phase would be to send us a copy of your bank statement, which shows that you have held the required maintenance funds in your bank account for the minimum period of 28 days before you print. So students will always ask me, can't I just show you that I have put in the money? Well, no, we even if you show us that you've put in the money, we won't release the cars unless the money has stayed for the period of 28 days as required by the UK Visa and Immigrations. So if you have sufficient funds, we release the cars. If there are discrepancies with the paperwork you have provided, let's say the name on the bank statement does not match the name on your passport, we would ask for clarification, such as an affidavit to explain the discrepancy. And we are not talking of a totally different person. We're talking about maybe just one name is missing, or you have put your name in an abbreviated version on one document and in the full version in another document. Now, if you're being sponsored by parents, obviously we expect you to bring the required paperwork for that as well. So this time it will be a personal statement, a personal bank statement from your parents and your birth certificate. If you have other forms of sponsorship, say an international organization is sponsoring, we would want to be sure, we would do our due diligence to be sure the scholarship is from an approved financial institution or an approved sponsor. So these are some of the checks that we have to carry out before the CAS is released. So we have students that are government sponsored, and there are students that are sponsored by an international organization. Some are sponsored by their employers. So here is the thing. If your employer is not an international organization, we will not accept, as it does not meet the 𝗂𝗃𝗃 requirement. So your employer has to fund your accounts, and then you provide us your bank statements. Yes, and there are also financial, that is scholarship boards that are recognized but have been defaulting on remittances to the institution. I would not mention names, on this program, but just so students are aware that the fact that you have a scholarship letter is not a guarantee that the university will waive the deposit requirements. If your sponsor is one of those that have been owing the institution, then we might have to require deposits before we can proceed to the CAS stage. So that's just, I thought I should just put it out there, because I know you have students who are currently receiving scholarship letters right now. So
I was even going to ask about that.
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely consider sponsors like that. But if they are on the list of sponsors that have been owing or probably still owing, then naturally it's a difficult thing for us as an institution to still keep accepting more debts, basically. So at this time, we would require some payments upfront before the student can proceed to the visa stage. It's also for the student's own good, really, because at the end of the day, you're going to go through a lot of stress if the deadline passes and your sponsor has not paid the institution, and then you are cut off based on deregistrations, and then you start receiving all these emails about visa curtailment. Of course, that makes studying really, really difficult. So we would advise that students make adequate arrangements before they arrive the UK. Either ensure that you have backup plan if your sponsor delays remittances or something. Just something, worth considering, because there are all sorts of issues going on with, sponsored students at the moment, and we wouldn't want, students who have the opportunity to hear beforehand that they should make adequate arrangement, have a plan B, just in
Mm,
case. Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. So moving
Yeah.
on from the scholarships available or the loans acceptable for sponsorship. So I'd like to ask if there are MRES courses that allow dependents in the school.
University. At the moment, we do not have lots of MRES courses anyway, so we do not have options at this time for students, but we would still, get advice from the research admissions team and the visa compliance team about any options that, we have currently that might become available to students who wish to bring dependents. But at this moment, no, we do not have an option for them, except the PhD, it's proper. So if you're applying for a PhD, absolutely you can bring your dependents.
Okay. All right. So I think we have some comments,
Okay.
but I'm yet to get. Okay, so we have one here asking if there are pre-masters options in Middlesex.
No, so I think most institutions that offer pre-masters do it in partnership with pathway providers. So at this time, we do not have such an arrangement in place. So if you need to start with a pre-masters, then you would have to consider any of the other pathway providers out there. We do not offer it to students at the moment. And I also like to clarify that the postgraduate diploma is different from the pre-masters, because we get that question a lot. So students will say, "Oh, but I saw postgraduate diploma on your website." So yes, we do offer postgraduate diploma options for some programs, but the difference from between a PG diploma and a master's is basically the dissertation, the project, the final project.
Okay.
So the student who is awarded a postgraduate diploma, is short of 60 credits, which is supposed to be their research project or their dissertation. Okay, so you have the same entry requirement as the applicant going for the masters. If it's 2-1, you need 2-1. If it is 2-2, you need 2-2. It is not an option for someone with a tall class to go for a postgraduate diploma. You need the same, and you need to meet the same entry requirement as the master's version of that program. Okay, the only
Okay.
thing is, you do not do the final project, which bears 60 credits, and that's why you will be awarded a postgraduate diploma. In fact, even students who have enrolled onto a master's and for whatever reason were unable to complete or did not pass their dissertation, then they would be graduating with a postgraduate diploma because they are short of 60 credits.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I get that. So we have another option. This question is saying, are there which pathway is in charge of Middlesex University? I think you already mentioned you do not work
We
with
don't.
any pathway
Yeah.
provider, but you can accept
Yeah.
foundation programs from other schools. Can you
Yes.
accept a pre-masters from another pathway provider?
No,
Or
unfortunately, it's kind of tied to the pathway provider and their progression options.
okay.
Yeah.
So this person is saying, Mr. Uche is asking, are there notable Nigerians that graduated from Middlesex?
Definitely, there are notable Nigerians that graduated from Middlesex. I think if my information is correct, even the daughter of the current president is a Middlesex alumni.
Really?
Yeah,
That's good.
yes, yeah, and um, there is also someone else. There's someone else at the top of my head that graduated from. The daughter graduated from our campus in Dubai. We do have a lot. I can actually do a little bit of list and forward to you that you could share with them. But yes,
Okay, that's
we have, yeah, we also have people in private businesses that are doing so well that you may not know them publicly, um, as maybe political figures or things like that, but definitely doing so well that we are
Okay, of
proud,
course.
yes, our Middlesex graduates.
All right. Okay, thank you. So for our viewers, you can click on the Zoom link on the comment section to join representatives on Zoom, Middlesex University representatives on Zoom. So you can have one-on-one conversation with them on your interest to study in Middlesex. That is for our viewers and our commenters. So I think that is all on the comment section.
Okay.
Okay. So what options do you have for people that wants to come in with dependents?
Um, so I mentioned that for now the options available would be the PhD program. So if you are applying to study a PhD at Middlesex, then your dependents can come with you. I also believe that government-sponsored students are allowed to bring their dependents as well.
Yes.
So those are the exceptions to the rule. But we have not created any course separate from the existing ones for this
Okay.
purpose.
What about
Yeah.
MPhil?
Yeah, so MPhil, and we do offer MPhil, but I would need to check with our CAST team if the university is able to sponsor. Well, the university doesn't need to sponsor you, but if the university has been listed with the UKVI as this program can accept dependents kind of thing. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll actually need to check with that because most times we do not have our MPhil as a standalone. Most times it is in as in it is paired with the PhD. So a PhD actually first starts with the MPhil, then you progress to the PhD. So the first 18 months of your PhD, 18 to 24 months of your PhD is an MPhil. And then the rest, would then be the PhD when you're done. So some students will
Okay.
pause after the MPhil phase and maybe not be able to continue with the PhD in full. So yeah, it's actually a very good question, and I'm sad that I do not have an answer for students who wish to just complete an MPhil. So I will get yeah, I will get no, definitely I'll get an answer for that, but we haven't had any communication yet from the university that this is on offer. But decisions change every day, so I'll be happy to check and get back to you.
Okay, thank you. So basically most of the PhD applicants or prospective applicants we get from Nigeria, they usually ask for scholarships, fully funded
Mm,
most times. So does
mm,
Middlesex have that option of fully funded scholarship on PhD since they'll be doing a certain research and some
mm.
research are usually
Capital
funded
intensive.
by yes. So does the
Yeah.
university have such options?
So generally speaking, we do not have a budget set aside for the purpose of, helping international PhD applicants, with the funding for their research. That is generally, but there might be specific research areas that do have a budget for that, and then they
Oh,
can explore those options. So I think everything really depends on the research area and if that faculty has got the budget to support your research. But it is
okay.
not something that is general, that is available generally at the moment.
All right, perfect. So the before we go, the final thing we'll have to discuss is deadlines. So especially
Mhm.
for September intake, the application deadline, cast deadline, payment deadline. So can we have them, please?
Yeah, so I'll ask Yetunde to fill us in on the deadline part. I know we haven't set a deadline yet for applications, but we do have to consider cast deadlines, obviously. And we work, yeah, we work with the time, as in our deadlines are usually linked with things like cast deadlines, latest arrival dates, and all of that. And don't forget, I mentioned we have the precast process. So we also factor in students being able to book slots for interviews, and the availability of slots, would determine how far we can go into, the cycle before we stop accepting new students. So Yetunde, please, what can you help us with the updates on CAS deadlines and that?
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we can confirm our class deadline, and that is the 6th of September. Okay,
Okay.
like Oluchi has said, we have to consider every other thing. There's a process to this thing. You have to do the credibility interview. You need to have your 28 days bank statements ready. So, because we understand that Nigeria is basically a late market, where people come to you last minute. So, it's
Yeah.
always difficult to, quickly put out that application deadline date. So, what we do is we look at, to be realistic, if you're looking at these timelines, you can say maybe mid-August. You should be sure that students that want to go have gotten their offers, are already building their bank statements. That's why we're very open when it comes to all these late applications. Take for example, your agency would always reach out and ask, okay, I have the students with a 28-day statement. If we get an offer, is it possible to still get CAS? What would always ask is, does this student have, their 28 days bank statement running? So if they have their statement running, yes, we would still take all those late applications. Okay, but if you're already looking at end of August and it's looking like we're not going to move our date, that is our cast deadline date from that 6th
Yeah.
of
For 6th of
September.
September is actually
Yeah.
thoughtful. That's close to
Yeah,
almost start
Yeah.
date.
exactly,
Yeah.
to resumption date. Yeah, that's the
Yes.
16th of September. So that's very fair. So if you're seeing that, okay, these students at this time do not even have their bank statements ready, then you know that, okay, we're not going to put in this application. It's to just break their hearts, basically. But please just be in touch with us when you're about to submit those late applications. Like we said, we have the credibility interview in place, so we can expedite the process for those students so they can get, their interviews out of the way. And basically, it's just us requesting for their classes. Okay, but yeah, once we have a date, when we have sat down to look at it and say, okay, we have to literally put a cap now,
Yeah.
we'll definitely
Yeah.
share with that
Okay,
with
there's
our
no problem.
agents. But the 6th of September is definitely certain for cast
For
Okay.
deadline.
class. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That will be all for now.
Okay.
Thank you for being here. It's been a really informative and interactive session with you.
Oh,
So
thank you.
we'll come to the end of
Thank you for
the
having us.
session. Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
so much for having us. So we are
You're
looking
welcome.
forward to seeing more of AHZ students at Middlesex. And please make sure that you always consult with AHZ so you do not make mistakes. We do not want, you know, avoidable mistakes to be made, especially when it comes to your visas. It's very important that you seek support from, our trusted partner so they can assist you with the process, look at your paperwork, and guide you accordingly. And if there are questions they will definitely reach out to Middlesex and get clarification. So please do the right thing, and we'll be happy to meet you on campus.
All right. Thank you, Oluchi. Thank you, Yetunde. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
And you
Bye.
too. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.
Welcome to the world of AHZ, where dreams take flight and futures are transformed. We have helped thousands of students from all around the world achieve their academic and career goals. We are more than just an education consultant. We are your bridge to success in the United Kingdom. Our support doesn't stop at the classroom door. We are here to assist you with any challenges you may face during your time abroad. Get ahead with AHZ today. AHZ, your pathway to excellence, your partner in success.